personal brand is just the worst idea.
Yeah, okay, let's start there.
There are a number of different reasons why you shouldn't, if you're just a SDR or AE at a company trying to hit quota. Number one, it's super distracting to your role. It's at the cost of getting better at your craft.
Yeah.
So, and spending time on the phones. Prospecting is really, really tough. Personal branding isn't. Sorry, guys. It's just making comments back and forth on LinkedIn threads and being like, dope thread, I like that, thought, yada, yada, yada. And these poor SDRs get confused that they're working when they're not actually working. It's a great way to waste time and quote unquote socially listen, but will it actually book those meetings for you? Now, some could argue of like, oh, well, I build a personal brand, and then all these people inbound. And I'm like, well, the people who come in because of personal brand, usually they're outside of territory. They're never the right person.
Yep.
And so as an SDR, like I get this dope lead, but it's outside of my territory. So I have to pass it to another SDR who is spending time on the phones. So they get double bookings for my quote unquote work.
How do you build credibility then? I hear you. You're saying it's not necessarily maybe going to tie back to revenue. And I have heard this from people that have big personal brands of even if they do come inbound, they're like, oh, they weren't in my territory, so I have to ship them out. How do you build that credibility before going out? I guess by being good at your job?
Yeah, by being good at your job, learning about your buyer. Ta-da. Yeah, totally. It's crazy when you think about it, when you break down the math, that they're like, well, how will I have credibility? I'm like, learn more about their role. If you're selling into CTOs and you're ripping SDR tips on how to write a good cold email, do you think that builds credibility with a CTO that you know about their job? No. Yeah. And do you think they even need that if you know a lot about it in the room? Like, no. I'm like, none of the top performers that I've seen ever had a personal brand. None of the people that I know that had a personal brand were ever top performers. For sales reps and for AEs, I'm like, it's a really bad idea. The thing that I recommend for SDRs, AEs that I did with my teams, I said, you get 15 minutes to socially listen in the day. What that means is the beginning of every single sequence, when you add a prospect, you go to their LinkedIn profile, and I'm known as whatever, personalization at scale girl. I'm like, pick 3 premises, save them engagement. You're done with the research for the rest of the sequence. 15 minutes only. I put a timer. I'm like, LinkedIn time is done. And then you can strictly use it past that 15 minutes to harbor data about them to save in sales engagement. You have 5 minutes for a prospect to do that. They usually only need about 3 minutes. But I'm like, if I see you scrolling through the home feed instead of a profile outside of 8 to 8:15 a.m., there will be hell to pay. I'm like, look, I will always be undyingly devoted to reps of what I believe is good for them based on everything that I've seen behind the scenes. I cannot tell you the amount of people that I know that have had a personal brand blah, blah, that were like either had legal consequences from it or fired from their job from it. Best case scenario, they were fired for performance. And most of their leaders, when I talked about them behind the scenes, they were like, yeah, they're just spending all day on social.
Okay, no.
Hashtag sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, it's, I hear you.
For the company view, though, good. Yeah. It's great. You get a whole bunch of inbound traffic.
Sure. But if you're paying reps for their individual KPIs, then that's where it becomes a little messy.
That's it. Okay. Arthur's like sad he asked now.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, why did I make this happen?
That was the session on, that is my last session on personal brand. Never open up my mouth again about it. Sorry everyone had to watch this. Hopefully I don't wind up on CNN for all the wrong reasons.
There you have it. Beck on personal branding. Sounds like individual sales reps shouldn't do it. She convinced me. Hopefully she convinced you.